For Journey as a game, it's a person's birth was very young, and he doesn't know anything, and he starts to explore, and the childhood is very safe, and everything is exciting. And then, as he grew, he realized more and more about why he's here and his purpose.
In Journey, you wake up in this desert environment and you see the mountain in front of you. That's the goal of the game, is to get to the mountaintop. But through the experience of Journey, you learn who you are and what's happened in this world and what your purpose is.
It was a very iterative process. We just tried out a whole lot of things. I drew zillions of pencil drawings before we even went to the computer. That's where, you know, the idea of this mountain originated. Originally, it wasn't a mountain, it was a cliff, and there was a crack in the cliff.
Genova and I had lunch, actually, and he showed me some of his early sketches for Journey. I just immediately knew that it was something that I had to work on. I had had a life-changing experience in Bhutan, where I trekked over a 16.5 peak, very high in the air. It had really caused me to have an epiphany about where my life was and what I was spending my time on and what I wanted to do. And as he was telling me about the concept of Journey and what it was supposed to represent, it just hit me right in the heart, and I knew that I had to go and work on it.
Along the way, you can encounter another robed figure like yourself, and that is another player somewhere in the world who's also on their own journey. There's no PlayStation Network ID, there's no in-game messaging system or chat system. It's really about having an experience in which you're in this strange world and you encounter a total stranger.
When I approach these games, I think a fundamental feeling does not require language. It's the only way I can make something that touches the American or Japanese audiences by creating something that's more universal emotion rather than a very sophisticated emotion. But because I'm trying to hit it from a universal level, it is a lot harder. And so, yeah, instead I actually just give up on language.
The music of Journey was written by Austin Wintory, and he is my hero. When we were still in the very start of the project, he sent us a test piece of music, and it was just so beautiful. We did a little mock-up trailer to greenlight the game with his music in it, and it gave it the mood, and I think that really was something that helped get the game off the ground. So yeah, it definitely goes back and forth between the images being inspired by the music and the music being inspired by the images.
The process is so iterative. There's no way to just say, here's your score. In a film, it's a tried and true system. But with games, it's sort of like being on the frontier in the 1850s, where it's sort of this lawless territory that's a little rough and tumble, but it's also this beautiful, untapped wilderness at the same time.
But of course, on the road of the hero's journey, there's temptations. There's moments where you're lost. And then eventually, you grew up, right? You figure out where you're going. And through struggle, you overcome yourself and you reach the transcendence.
The last third of the game is my favorite. A lot of people will like, I think, the first half for its fun and its excitement. The last half of the game is very special to me because it makes me think about all the people that I have met in my life, how those people are important to me, and how I've gotten to where I am.
One of the things I love about That Game Company games is it allows you to project yourself into the game. The things that are going on in your life and the things that you feel, you can attach yourself to things and those experiences that happen in the game, and they help you resolve and look at those things in a different way. And that's really the special part about their game. So I think it's a very individual experience for everyone. And for me, it's very potent.
I've been thinking a lot about how to describe Journey. Ignore everything I've said. Just go there, be yourself, and walk through the journey yourself. The message gets through the best when you are experiencing it. And I hope that you can find something meaningful for you in the game.
PlayStation
In Journey, I think there is a bit more of a story than our previous games. We still want it to be a very accessible experience. We're not just talking about the controls and the technology, but also the content as well.
When we made Flower, it's already super hard to describe. We say this is an interactive poem exploring the urban bustle and the natural serenity. But when it comes to Journey, it's a metaphor trying to explore our life's transformation and the crossing, the intersecting of our lives between each other.
Our titles at That Game Company definitely have a common DNA through them. Each time we've really challenged ourselves.
We start to realize game innovation can actually be about emotion rather than just game mechanics or game simulation technology innovation. You can innovate on what game makes you feel. And that's pretty much kind of started our company, which is we want to make a game that makes you feel differently.
For me, the most important thing about That Game Company is their complete willingness to turn their backs on the traditional way of how to look at the world.
To me, the most important thing is that a game resonate with someone, that it be meaningful. What I always look for in an experience is, did it move me? Did it make me feel something new and interesting?
At That Game Company, because we've really found that we enjoy the pace of a small team sort of working tightly together, a lot of the decision-making process we go through on a project is about understanding what we can do to still leverage our limited resources but create a really polished experience.
It's definitely a collaboration all the time. And that's really great because we all wear a lot of hats around here, and that's really fun.
That is why TGC as a company is so strong. It is the individuals who make up that company. It's their philosophy. Everyone who tries their experience is never going to look at games the same way again.
One of the premier tenets at TGC is to have a global impact, to reach a worldwide audience, and to to transform the way that that audience thinks of games.
The future of gaming will be even more diverse, and we're trying to make the things that's not in the market.
We're not talking about diversity of gender or race necessarily. I think what the important thing is diversity of thought.
When we began working with TGC, we already had the idea that we wanted to create a new and unique, innovative type of game for the PlayStation Network. We really had a strong desire to do things that other publishers wouldn't be willing to take on, and something that most of our consumers probably couldn't find anywhere else in the game industry.
When someone say, I'm kind of feeling sad today, I want to play something interesting, emotional, there's something out there for them.
Being here has really transformed my understanding of how games can touch people and change the way they feel about life and about their prospects in life. And if we're not doing that, then, you know, at least in some way with our industry, then I think we're not trying hard enough.
PlayStation PlayStation
Okay. Boban, we are connected? Okay, we are connected, we can go. Austin Wintory, The Journey, Session 1.
ステーション